safe is a right. This is why we had to fight.
With the school year just a few weeks away, many educators and parents are worried about the uncertainty that lies ahead.
So how are we going to send our kids back into a burning building and other families, teachers and staff into a burning building and we're not prepared yet?
Several groups from around the state met at the state capitol for a rally to voice their biggest concerns about the state's reopening plan, which allows school districts to welcome staff and students back for in-person learning.
The spread of it throughout the schools, from the poor ventilation, people being too close, not having enough funding to buy individual supplies for everybody, and of course how that then is going to spread out through our communities.
They called for in-person learning to be phased in and for online learning to be more than it was in the spring, through more training and support, as well as proper funding, especially in districts that are already underfunded.
We know that in our city, we have higher class sizes, we have under-maintained buildings, we have less opportunity for outdoor learning.
Teachers also wanted to have a visual representation of their concerns, so they put together this art installation on the lawn across the street from the Capitol.
So many differences from district to district and challenges that districts are facing, that the installation represents all of these people that are webbed into this process of reopening and how quickly things can go out of control when one person gets sick.
While the state says the current COVID-19 numbers give officials confidence about reopening schools, some argue it's not enough.
Flattening the curve is not an endpoint. It bought us some time, but the real battle with this virus begins now, and it's surveillance, and it's trace testing, and it's eventually vaccination.
Reporting in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.